Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. In this video what we will do is create this function, which is y of x equals the sine of x, and have Matlab plot this for us. We will then create two more functions, cosine and tan of x, and have Matlab plot those two for us as well. After which we will ask the user to select one of these functions and have Matlab plot these functions for us. So the first thing that we want to do is let's create a new section. Let's call this section variables. So under variables we have x, which is possibly the only variable we need. X is a range between, let's say, 0 and 2 pi, but the increment is 0.1 times pi, so 0.1 pi, and the upper limit is basically 2 pi. So it's between 0 and 2 pi, and it increases by 0.01 pi. And yeah, that's it in terms of variables. So let's create a new section. So this section is called, let's call it plus. For this section, we will add y1, and y1 is referring to the sine of x function. And then we will say plot, so we'll pick x as our x-axis and y1 as our y-axis, and let's hope it works. So let's run the two sections, and there we go. So yeah, that's how it should look like. Notice it's a bit basic at the moment. We can probably add an x and y label, and we'll also add a title and maybe change the numbers down here to match what we have for the x values. So let's start off with title, and let's pick, I don't know, let's say plot for y of x equal to sine of x. For the x label, oops, we're just going to say angles in rad, oops. And for the y label, we're going to say that this is sine of x. Okay, let's run this and see what happens. So F9, and there we have the y label, x label, and the title. So let's change the numbers down here, and these numbers are called ticks. So for the x ticks, we will just say that it is let's see, 0, then pi over 2, then 3 pi over 2, and then sorry, this needs multiplication sign, there we go, and then we have 2 times pi. Again, let's run this one and see what happens. Oh yeah, I think I probably need to do square brackets. There we go. Okay, so that should fix it. Yep. So now we see the values of basically pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. So what we want to do is change these values to have like pi's instead of just normal numbers. So what we will do in this case is type in x tick labels, and in here what we will say is let's open this bracket, and so I think you need to create something like this, and then have apostrophes, so start with 0, oops, comma, 2 more apostrophes, add this and say pi over 2. So what this will create is basically the symbol pi, comma, and then let's have dash 3 pi 3 3 pi over 2, and I forgot to add the apostrophes, and then one more dash 2 pi, and again I forgot to add the apostrophes. There we go. Okay, so run this, and there you go. So you have your pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. Okay, I think this is all I need. So let's next let's create y2, and for y2 it's actually cosine of x. I'm just gonna copy and paste all of that down here, and what I just need to change is this one, so that should say cosine of x. Angles, and that should say cosine of x as well. Okay, and then one final one, so copy and paste, and let's call this one y3, and in here change that to tan, change this one as well, and change this one to tan. Now don't plot yet, because what if you plot the whole thing, you will have basically 3 plots laid on top of each other. What we want to do next is basically have the user input, so let's say choice. So this is a new variable, we'll call it choice, and in here we're just going to say that it's an input, and the prompt is select let's say y function. So that's the input, and what we're saying in here is that if the user gives you a 1, then it will plot the first one. If the user gives you 2, then it's going to plot the second one, and so on. So in here, what we want is for the user to say 1, 2, or 3. So select y function, and let's remind the user that they have 3 options. So in here we're going to say 1, 2, 1, 2, or 3, and close that bracket. So yeah, this is just a reminder for the user that they have 3 options. So if choice equals 1, then this is what's going to happen. Else, if choice equals 2, and that's going to happen. Else, it will plot this one. Let's also do else if choice equals 3, then this is going to happen. So you can leave it as else, but then if you type in 4, it will also plot this one. However, now if you type in 4, nothing will happen. Don't forget to close the loop. So end, and that's it. Yeah, that's just one. Okay, let's run the whole thing and see what happens. So F9. So yeah, just open that. So select, let's say 2, press enter, and yeah, there we go. That is the cosine function. That doesn't look like a cosine function. Let's see what happened. Ah, that's because it's y1. Okay, I just need to change that. Alright, let's try again. F9 and select 2 again, press enter. There you go. That's your function. So this is one way to do it. There's another way in which you can switch between the choices. But yeah, this is the simplest way to do this one. Okay, see you later.